Good morning and welcome to our Sunday morning live stream worship at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. My name is Sonya Tinsley Hook, and I'll be leading the music along with Jeep Hook and John Franjione this morning. We are so happy you are with us, and we invite you to take part fully in the service. Sing along with the hymns, light and extinguish your chalice at home, and be present with us in this meaningful time. Our first hymn this morning is the Holly Near song, "We Are a Gentle, Angry People."
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. Gay and straight together. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives.
We are so happy you've joined us on this Sunday after Thanksgiving with the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. Whoever you are, whomever you love, and whatever path you are on, you are welcome here. Again, I'm Sonya Tinsley Hook, a lay minister and joy ambassador here at UUCA. Both Don and Reverend Strauss are off this Sunday, and I'm pleased to be leading the service with our community minister, Reverend Macon Lloyd Joyner. I especially ask for your grace as we make some of our transitions today with our worship leaders out of the building. We promise, though, we'll keep it together. Just a friendly reminder that email from UUCA staff, such as Reverend Taryn, will always come from the address uuca.org. It's pretty easy for people to create fake email addresses at Gmail, Hotmail, and other free services and pretend to be UUCA. This is called a phishing attack, and churches in Atlanta and across the country are being targeted. Don't get phished. That's P-H-I-S-H, phish. And you can read more about how to spot them on our Facebook page and on your weekly update. Mark your calendars now. The ARE series, So You Want to Talk About Race, returns on Tuesday, December 1st at 7:30 p.m. with Michael Barron, co-author of Subtle Acts of Exclusion, Addressing Bias and Microaggressions. And on December 8th with Atlanta's own Jen Wilcia, one of the most highly skilled white anti-racist facilitators of our time, explaining what white allyship really requires. To register, follow the link going into the chat now. We are also starting a book club. To coincide with our 5-part series on race, we are exploring the New York Times bestseller that inspired the series title, So You Want to Talk About Race, by Ijeoma Oluo. The book club runs until February 11th, 2021, skipping holiday weeks. Please see the link in the chat to register and receive more detailed information. Please join your UCA community for a Zoom Room virtual social hour directly after the service. Sign up for the Zoom social hour by following the link in the weekly update or the link being dropped into the live chat now. Right after today's social hour, there will be a town hall in preparation for our December congregational meeting. So join us at 1 p.m. That link is also appearing in the chat now. All visitors and guests are invited to learn more about UUCA by attending the Zoom Inquirers tonight at 7:30 p.m. A link to sign up can be found in the weekly update or in the live chat. Through the live chat, we can express love and care for each other. As UUs, we know that we have a lot of varied opinions. It is a strength of our faith and our congregation. The YouTube chat, though, is not the place to voice and discuss those opinions, as they take away from the flow and the experience of the service. If you wish, please use our live chat feature for 3 purposes: to welcome and support one another, to affirm the hard work and effort of worship leaders, and to spread good vibes. If you have questions or concerns about the sermon or worship, please contact Reverend Taryn or our staff directly via email. If you notice yourself becoming upset during the worship service, please know that we have a lay minister standing by in our live chat. Reach out to lay minister Barbara Begner, and she will arrange a phone call with you offline so that others can enjoy the service. And now I invite you into gentle care on our live stream. Please take a moment to welcome each other and to welcome anyone who may be visiting into this morning's worship. Thank you. So today we light our first candle of Advent. And I also invite you to light your chalices at home. Now please join me in saying the chalice lighting words. May the light of this flame, my mind went blank, so I'm going to go and do it from right here. And I think I need my reading glasses. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
Whoa. Hey. sunset. I can't deny they're getting high, higher than my income. Income's breadcrumbs. I've been trying to force out the glow that the sun gets right around sunset. Helps me to realize this is just a journey. Drop your worries. You're gonna turn out fine. Oh, you turn out fine. Fine, oh, you turn out fine. But you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your hair down, oh. You gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your hair down, eh. I know it's hard, to remember sometimes, but you gotta keep your head up, oh, you can let your hair down, eh. I got hands in my pockets kicking these rocks. It's kinda hard to watch this life go by. I'm buying into skeptics mess with the confidence in my eyes. I'm seeing all the angles, thoughts get tangled. I start to compromise my life and my purpose. Is it all worth it? Am I gonna turn out fine? Oh, you turn out fine. Fine, oh, you turn out fine. But you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your hair down, eh. You gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your hair down, eh. I know it's hard to remember sometimes, but you gotta keep your head up, oh, you can let your hair down, eh, eh, eh. Only rainbows after rain, the sun will always come again, and it's a circle, circling around again. It comes around again. I say only rainbows after rain, the sun will always come again, and it's a circle, circling around again. It comes around, but you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your hair down, hey, gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your hair down, hey. I know it's hard to remember sometimes, but you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your hair down. Keep your head up and let your hair down. Keep your head up and let your hair down. I know it's hard to remember sometimes, but keep your head up, oh, keep your head up, eh, eh, eh.
Now, please join the Joyner Clark family, that's Reverend Megan's family, for the movement prayer.
First, we bow to honor the Spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of Spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present.
Our music for meditation today is hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. Since you're my congregation, I can be honest with you. I'm super nervous about singing the Spanish verse. So sing loud, okay? During the second verse.
Spirit of Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí. Y a corazón, cántale tu compasión. Sopla valor, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arrágame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
Let us put our hands on hearts. Feel the warm connection. Let love in this moment flow. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself, I will love others, and that love will heal the world. At this time, we hear the joys and sorrows of our congregation. Please send love and condolences to Dana Boyle, Andy Kramer, and their family. Dana's mother, Louise Boyle, passed away from COVID-19. She was much loved, and her loss will be deeply felt by her family and friends. Cards are welcome. Please hold Dana Woolhart in your thoughts. Dana's 90-year-old mother, Charlene McChesney, died peacefully on November 23rd. Cards and emails are welcome. Longtime member Margaret Nash passed away on November 21st. Please hold her children, Helen and Mark, in your thoughts. Margaret was deeply involved with UUCA and acted as president in the 1970s and was active with the Mountain. She lived her life to the fullest and will be missed by many. A memorial service will be held in 2021. Let us offer love and condolences to the Macon family. Robert Macon's sister Julia passed away from COVID-19 on November 9th. Cards and emails are welcome. Our wider Unitarian Universalist community has lost yet another bright light. The Reverend Dr. Hope Johnson, an inspiration to so many, passed away this weekend, surrounded by family, song, and prayer. May her memory be a blessing and an inspiration to us all. We hold in our hearts people who are struggling with loneliness, grief, loss, or illness across the world. May all beings find connection. May all people find comfort. May all of us find ways to be more loving to one another. As humans have gathered for millennia, so we gather on this day to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to ask forgiveness, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, to remember that all beings are all inextricably and mysteriously connected. Now we still our bodies and we still our minds. We take in a big breath and then we exhale. We relax into this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence.
I Am Peace, a Book of Mindfulness by Susan Verde. Art by Peter H. Reynolds. Read by Laura Beth Brown. There are times the thoughts in my head are like rushing water, and I feel like a boat with no anchor being carried away. I give myself a moment. I take a breath. And then I tell myself, it's all right. I feel the ground beneath my feet and steady myself. And start to notice the here and the now. My thoughts begin to settle. My mind begins to clear. I am peace. I let things go. I can say what I feel inside out loud. I know myself. I can share kindness with others. I make a difference. I can hug a tree and thank it for its beauty and strength. I connect to nature. I can watch the clouds make shapes against the sky. I know wonder. I can taste and smell and touch and hear and see what is all around me. I use my senses. I can feel my breath fill my whole body. I tune in to me. Now the water is still. I have found my anchor, and everything is all right. I don't need to worry about before or after. I am in this moment. I am peace. Now I share my peace with others and hope that it is carried away to those who need it. And I dream. We our peace.
These days, it can be challenging to approach much of anything with an eye toward abundance. And yet, that is what this community has done and continues to do day after day. Last week, we heard the incredible report of our Capital Campaign co-chairs, Ellen and John, who shared with us the powerful vision that this congregation is manifesting into reality. We have exceeded our goal for the campaign thanks to you, and are now living into the dream of making our new campus UUCA's home for generations to come. Each of us is a part of that dream. Each of us is a part of making it come true. Together, we are truly building a new way in an era that requires all the creativity, passion, and dedication that we can muster. Living abundantly is not only about our finances, it is also knowing that love is magnified when shared. Justice is magnified when shared. Care, compassion, and kindness are all magnified when shared. On your screen, you'll find the numerous ways you can give to the mission and vision of this congregation this morning. We ask that you give abundantly as the morning's offering is now received.
Love cannot trump hate without you. Love will never keep us together without you. Love needs you to give it, you to live it, you to make it, you to activate it, you to support it, you to vote for it. All love needs is you. All love needs is you. It's true. You're what love needs, and all love needs is you. It's true. You're what love needs, and love cannot find a way without you. Love will never save the day without you. Love needs you to teach it, you to preach it, you to believe it, you to receive it, you to support it, you to vote for it. All love needs is you. All love needs is you. It's true. You're what love needs, and all love needs is you. It's true. You're what love needs, and love cannot change the world without you. No. And love will never conquer all without you. Yeah. Love needs you to show it, you to grow it, you to demonstrate it, you to celebrate it, you to support it, you to vote for it. All love needs is you. Love needs you and me. Love needs you and me. Love needs you and me. Ooh. Love needs us. Love needs us. All love needs is you and me. We're what
you. Deep breath. And now, please join me in the dedication of the offering to the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community. We dedicate our lives and these, our offerings.
In March of this year, I was in quarantine, awaiting the birth of my second daughter. The reading I'd like to share with you this morning is a poem that I wrote on March 29th, 2020. It's entitled, Upon Waking. Each morning when I wake and throughout the day, there are moments of normalcy. When I think I might rise and go to work, take her to school, go out to dinner. Each morning when I wake and throughout the day, I forget for just a moment that people are dying and struggling to breathe and sharing ventilators. And there are sirens and helicopters, and we have not yet hit the peak, nor will we for weeks or maybe months. How does one run a marathon for which one has not trained? One step at a time, moment to moment. Forget, and then remember. Do what you can. Reject despair. Seek joy. Sing. Pray. Love. So ends the reading.
Bring on your forces of nature. Bring on the storm that is raging. And if you get lost in the shadows, there's a fire inside you. Be the light that guides you. Come on and carry your flame. Carry it higher. Leave it in the darkness. Carry your torches. Come on and carry your flame. Set the night on fire. Leave it in the darkness. Carry your torches. Bring on your bows and your arrows. Bring on your plagues and your pharaohs. 'Cause if you get lost in the shadows, there's a fire inside you. And you know that I'll find you. Come on and carry your flame. Carry it higher. Leave it in the darkness. Carry your torches. Come on and carry your flame. Set the night on fire. Leave it in the darkness. Carry your torches. carry your flame. Carry it higher, leave it in the darkness. Carry your torches, come on and carry your flame. Set the night on fire, leave it in the darkness. Carry your torches.
Good morning. It is a joy to be with you all this morning. I am so grateful to the incredible UUCA worship and AV teams who have made it possible for me to join you from my home. As an oncology chaplain with older parents and younger children and a quite complicated quarantine situation, as you can imagine, I am deeply grateful for the care and concern for my families and my patients' safety. So I want to say thank you this morning to Reverend Taryn and to Dawn, to LB and to Sonya and to Jeep and to John and Pasha and George and everyone behind the scenes at UUCA who are making these incredible services happen week after week. You all are truly a blessing. And I want to invite you at home to feel yourself now grounded where you are. Perhaps you might choose to close your eyes. I invite you to take 3 deep belly breaths, to feel the air come into your diaphragm and expand all the way into your belly. Feel it rise and fall as you exhale. 3 deep breaths. As you breathe, feel the chair underneath you, or the couch, or the bed, or the floor, wherever you are. Feel yourself supported. With each breath in, I invite you to breathe in peace. And with each breath out, to let something go. We breathe in peace. We breathe out that which no longer serves us. Now I invite you to let my words wash over you this morning, and my prayer is that something you might need to hear is said here. Fingertips or fingernails? That's become my go-to response when folks respond to my "how are you" by saying, "Ooh, Megan, I'm hanging in." Fingertips or fingernails? They look at me sideways for a moment and then they get it. They chuckle and they answer. Fingertips, one nurse said the other day. Definitely fingertips. I'm good, she said. I was struck by our new bellwether of well-being, but fine, so be it. Carry on. Fingernails, another answered. Fingernails, for sure. She paused, looked at her fingernails and said, "And you know what, Megan? They are bloody." I touched her shoulder ever so briefly, because there are times when social distance is more deadly than the alternative. "I hear you," I said, and I withdrew my hand. She smiled and sighed. "Back to work," she said, and she picked up her notes and adjusted her mask and headed down the hall to inform yet another patient that it was time for hospice. When Reverend Taryn told me about this new worship theme on the qualities of resilience and asked if I could preach this Sunday on grit, I replied in an email, Yeah, buddy, I can do some grit. After all, I gave birth during a pandemic. I can do some grit. After all, I suit up, I mask up, I goggle up every day to join the ranks of the essential with the hopes of bringing some comfort to my fellow essential workers and folks struggling with cancer in the midst of this collective chaos in which we find ourselves. I can do some grit. After all, I return home each night and do not touch my children until I strip off my scrubs and shower with Hibiclens. Its acrid taste, its antibacterial, antiviralness, tasting sweet on my tongue as I hope and pray and wish that any stray virus particles are washed away with the scalding water. I can do some grit. After all, I get up the next morning and I do it all again. We all do, each in our own context. One morning, one evening, and then again. These long, long months. And now, so many of us face fear and loneliness, exhaustion, boredom, weariness, testiness, grief, despair some days, hope others. Yeah, buddy, we can do some grit. Dr. Angela Duckworth defines grit as passion and perseverance. It is, she says in her book on the subject, sustained persistence applied toward long-term achievement. Grit is sticking with your future, she says, day in and day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, working really hard to make that future a reality. Grit is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint, she says. This is what we are doing. We are sticking with our future. We are literally working so hard to make sure that we and our children and our children's children have a future. It has begun to sink in, perhaps, that we are in this for a very long haul. While we may have thought at the beginning in March or April that we were prepared to sprint through the summer and that the pandemic would be over by the fall, we are under no illusions now that we are indeed running a marathon, one for which we certainly did not train. And let's be frank, at this point, we don't know quite yet where the finish line will be. In her research on grit, Dr. Duckworth has determined that those who excel at their goals, be they high school students or high-powered CEOs or the best athletes on the planet, have in common a stick-to-itiveness that enables them to excel. As I said, she defines grit as a combination of passion, deep commitment, and perseverance, willingness to keep going despite obstacles. Add to that deliberate practice, the purposeful and systematic practice aimed at improving performance, Duckworth says, and a person can achieve next to anything they set their gritty mind to. Now I say next to anything, because no matter how gritty, how determined, how passionate we are, there are things beyond our control. And there are things we cannot achieve individually. We can only achieve them collectively. And in the end, we are only human after all. As humans, it is not other human beings who are our worst enemies. It is chaos itself. Chaos, journalist Lulu Miller writes in her book that came out this year, Why Fish Don't Exist. Great title for a book. Chaos, she says, will rot your plants and kill your dog and rust your bike. It will destroy your most precious memories, topple your favorite cities, wreck any sanctuary you can ever build. Chaos, Miller writes, will get the person you love most. It will crack them from the outside or unravel them from the inside with the mutiny of their very own cells. Chaos, she says, is the only sure thing in this world, the master that rules us all. Miller felt herself succumbing to chaos in her own life when, on a search for the secret of resilience, she dove deep into the world of the early 20th century taxonomist David Starr Jordan. Jordan was an expert in fish, an ichthyologist. He and his crew would eventually discover a full fifth of the fish species known in his day. And Miller had been especially struck by the story, the legend, of Jordan and his fish collection and that fateful day in 1906 when the earth shook in San Francisco. Jordan's massive floor-to-ceiling collection of glass jars, each containing a fish specimen and a small tin tag with the name he had given that creature, shattered. The entire collection destroyed. The tags launched at random around the room. In some terrible act of Genesis in reverse, Miller writes, his thousands of meticulously named fish had transformed back into a heaping mass of the unknown. Jordan did not crumple in the face of chaos. Instead, he grabbed a needle and thread and began affixing tin name tags to the flesh of the fish he recognized. He did this for days. His assistants rigged up hoses to control decay, and Jordan rebuilt, renamed, and reorganized his collection. He quite literally held chaos at bay. Lulu Miller was intrigued. She was entranced, and she set out to learn all she could about Jordan's life. Now, she leaves out of the book that Jordan eventually inspired her to write that he was raised a Universalist in upstate New York. And later in life, though he declared no official religious identity, he claimed Starr as his middle name in honor of Thomas Starr King, a Western pioneer of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Indeed, Jordan was close friends with Unitarians and Universalists across the country throughout his life. And his life is a tale of grit. His lab was destroyed by a lightning strike and the fires that ensued. He started again. After 10 years of marriage, his wife died, and then shortly thereafter, his baby daughter. And he picked up and moved forward. He married again. He had more children. A second child died. He carried on. He became the founding president of Stanford University at the age of 40. And then there were the fish. Soon, though, in Miller's quest to determine what secret quality Jordan possessed that enabled him to bounce back from devastation again and again, he became the anti-hero of his own story. There was the blackmail of a gay member of the Stanford faculty. There was the decades-long conflict with Jane Stanford, who disagreed with Jordan over the direction of the school that bore her name and was built with her family's fortune. Then there was Jane Stanford's suspicious death and Jordan's swoop in to discredit the doctors who had determined that she had been poisoned. And perhaps most abhorrent, there was his deep dedication to the eugenics movement. I didn't see that one coming. But you see, David Starr Jordan extended his belief in taxonomy, in the categorization of living things from animals to humans. He believed that there was a ladder built into nature, a, quote, divine hierarchy from bacteria to humans that points objectively toward better. Resilience and grit were a part of that. Jordan had no space for weakness or struggle, for depression or despair. The latter provided a sense of natural order, something so many of us crave. And he began increasingly to see himself and others like him at the top of the ladder. The rest of humanity he categorized as depraved, unfit. Indeed, Miller writes, he wielded his belief in a natural order like a blade, convincing people that sterilization was the soundest way, the only way to save the human race. Yes, this man, born into a family that believed that all people would eventually be reconciled with God, became a champion of a movement that advocated for the sterilization and performed sterilization on those members of society that they deemed unfit. Oh, David Starr Jordan, how profoundly you disappoint. But the truth is, it is so often when we seek to hold chaos at bay, like Jordan, that we lose sight of our core values and can no longer calibrate our moral compass. Indeed, I believe we have seen a similar pattern of late here in our own nation. Now, Miller, disgusted by Jordan's moral turpitude, diligently continued her quest for meaning, her mission to discover the antidote to despair, to chaos, to find some significance in our human existence. And that is how she found herself sitting across one day from one of the victims of Jordan's theories of superiority, a woman named Anna, who had been sterilized against her will in a state institution. Unable to have children of her own, Anna had befriended a younger woman named Mary who had come to the institution as a child. Mary and Anna became companions for life. Miller interviewed them in the apartment they shared, and next to her on the couch sat the baby doll that Anna carried everywhere, a surrogate for the children that had been stolen from her so many years earlier. Mary had made Anna's baby doll a necklace of plastic beads. She encouraged her friend to love on that baby as if it were her own. Lulu Miller says that she took in Anna and Mary's love for each other that day, the way they lifted each other up and testified to each other's inherent value. These women that in large part based on the beliefs and teachings of men like David Starr Jordan, society had said were not worthy of even replicating their own genes. And sitting there with them, Miller had a revelation. They were the significance. They were the antidote. Anna and Mary and everyone connected to them, those they loved and those who loved them. This small web of people keeping one another afloat, Miller writes. All these minuscule interactions, a friendly wave, pencil sketch, some plastic beads strung up a nylon cord. They may not look like much from the outside, but for the people caught inside the web, they might be everything. The very tethers that keep one bound to this planet. The very tethers that keep one bound to this planet. I believe that what we face now, the existential threat of the deadly coronavirus, the existential threat to the principles that have anchored democracy in this country for hundreds of years, the existential threat of a failing economy, the existential threat faced on a daily basis by people of color. This is all something of a Genesis in reverse. I wish I could tell you, as the song says, that things are going to work out fine. The truth is, the order we have imposed upon our world has come crashing down around us like David Starr Jordan's jars of fish. And friends, in the face of this chaos, we could pick up a needle and thread and reclassify our world in an attempt to regain order. But an even more gritty act than that, I think, is the choice to keep our heads up regardless, to make meaning, to find significance in each other, the choice to love. Yes, even more gritty is that choice to tie ourselves to others, to say to another human being, you matter. You are worthy of love, of care, of compassion. You are the reason I keep going. I am the reason you keep going. We are bound. To have grit, the passion and the perseverance required to keep going day after day right now, requires a sense of purpose that takes us beyond ourselves. At its core, Angela Duckworth writes, the idea of purpose is the idea that what we do matters to people other than ourselves. And so in the face of pandemic fatigue, which is real, it is real, we continue to say, though, my mask protects you and your mask protects me. We are bound. And in the face of voter suppression and intimidation, we say every vote matters. We are all in this together. We are bound. And in the face of oppression and state-sanctioned violence, and yes, even the forced sterilization of immigrant women here in our own country, in our own state, we say Black Lives Matter. We say immigrant lives matter. We say women's lives matter. We are bound. These are challenging times, my friends, and we may be lonely, but we are not alone. We are bound together by our passion and our perseverance and our commitment to our collective future. We can do some grit. Now, I want to say that being gritty does not mean that we are not tired. It does not mean that we are not worn out. It does not mean that we don't go off kilter sometimes and have to right ourselves. The grit required of us right now does not mean we simply grit our teeth or hold on with white knuckles or grin and bear it. You know, grit in our times requires something else. It requires grace and gentleness. It requires reminding ourselves and each other of this over and over again. Grit in our time requires, as my daughter Arden reminds me daily, belly breaths and plenty of sleep. It requires creativity and imagination, finding new ways to be with those we love, new ways to find joy, new ways to organize our days and our homes, which are now our workplaces and our schools, our playgrounds, our restaurants, our movie theaters. Grit in our time also requires deliberate practice, requires helping our children and each other master the art of keeping a mask above one's nose. It requires examining our day at the end of it, asking, what could I have done differently to meet my goals, to live out my values, to serve others? Looking back at the end of the week and asking, what would make next week better? Deliberate practice. Grit in our time requires setting goals for the long days and weeks ahead. Who do I want to be? How do I want to be in the face of chaos? What will I tell my children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews and grandnieces and nephews about who I was during this time? How did I keep my center? How did I stay grounded? How did I summon my inner grit to keep going one foot after another, day after day? How did I make a difference? How did I spread love? And one last thing, we must remember this too, that grit prioritizes. Grit knows when to quit. When we let go of a task or an activity or a hobby or a job in the interest of a higher priority, a larger vision, a greater goal, we are not quitting for quitting's sake. We are prioritizing our resources, making choices about how we want to spend our energy and our time, deciding what we want to accomplish and what we need to make it possible. Oh, we can do some grit, folks. We are hanging on by our fingertips and fingernails. May we keep hoisting each other up. May we be gentle with ourselves and with each other. May we remember to breathe. May we remember that we are bound together. May it be so.
Thank you so much, Reverend Megan, for that sermon. And thank you all for being with us this morning. It's meaningful to be together virtually, holding each other up, even when we can't be together in person. And that's even more important during this holiday season. Our final hymn this morning is I Know I Can. So sing along.
Though days be dark with storms and burdens weigh my heart, though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. When sorrow heals my soul and burdens make me strong, though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. I can almost hear you, my sister in my heart, my brother in my song. Though troubles wait at every The destination is near. Though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. So cousins, take my hand, and siblings, sing my song. When hope awaits at every turn, I know we will go on. I know we will go on. Amen.
How does one run a marathon for which one has not trained? Moment to moment, one step at a time. As a spiritual takeaway, I invite you to breathe into your moments this week, to offer yourself peace so that you might offer peace to the world. I invite you to reflect on what it means to be gentle in your grittiness, to remember that even in our distance, we are bound together by our passion and our perseverance, our commitment to our collective future. And so as we extinguish our chalices, I offer you these words of benediction. Do what you can. Reject despair. Seek joy. Sing. Pray. Love. Go in peace. Blessed be.
And now we extinguish the chalices in our homes, but not in our hearts.